Friends, welcome to YouTube and Dr. Vet channel. I am Dr. P.R. Patel, Professor and Head Veterinary Medicine. We have seen the enteric colibacillosis part 1. The video is very much important because in the early part of the life, there is death of the calf. Mortality may reach even up to 100%. The chances of cure is very less. So farmer and veterinary officers and clinicians can save the life of the cows. That is very important video. And this is the most common disease. We continue with the presentation enteric colibacillosis part 2. In this, we will study pathogenesis, clinical findings, and diagnosis. Here we see the pathogenesis, how the E. coli bacteria produce pathology into the animal and produce a characteristic symptoms. Diarrhea in neonatal ruminants is associated with the disease mostly of the small intestine and caused by hypersecretion or malabsorption. Here in E. coli bacillosis, there are three mechanisms working that cause the diarrhea. One mechanism is hypersecretory diarrhea. Here there is abnormally large amount of fluid is secreted into the intestine, exceeding the resorption capacity of the intestine. And that is because of the toxin and some of the chemicals residue in the intestine. The other mechanism is malabsorptive diarrhea. The capacity of mucosa to absorb the fluid and nutrient is decreased greatly. The reason is the bacteria has caused villus atrophy and that decreases in the surface area of the absorption. So absorption is less. The net result will be the fluid remain more in the intestine. There is fermentation of products in the intestine, especially many are there, but here lactic acid is the main that draws the water from circulation into the intestine colon by osmotic way, and that results into the diarrhea. The third mechanism here is inflammatory diarrhea. The organism produces inflammation and that leads to damage to vascular and lymphatic and cryptovillus unit. The result is more fluid into the intestine and this results diarrhea. So these three mechanisms are working in the E. coli enteric colibacillosis. We have seen the three mechanisms. Any one mechanism or more of these three mechanisms results there is net loss of water in the form of diarrhea. The water comes out in the feces. Loss of sodium, hyponatremia, loss of potassium, hypokalemia, loss of bicarbonate, and it develops hypovolemia, hyponatremia because of loss of the bicarbonate. There is acidemia and perineal azotemia. Azotemia means abnormally high level of nitrogen containing compounds present in the blood. The nitrogenous compounds are urea, creatinine, and body waste compounds. In the pathogenesis, we have seen how the E. coli creates pathology and produce diarrhea and other symptoms. Here we see real what are the clinical findings here. The major signs are initially mild diarrhea that leads to dehydration. If the case is very severe, then there is dysentery with blood and mucus in the feces. There is fetid odor from the feces. Because of the diarrhea, there is profound weakness because there is hypovolemia. The animal become recumbent, like prostration, posture on the ground, and death within few hours or one of few days, depending on the severity of the case. The cow may lose more than 10% of the body weight fluid, and the death of the animal is generally due to hypovolemic shock. So clinician has to take this into consideration while giving the treatment. Hypovolemic shock. Calves generally 3 to 5 days age are severely affected. This point is important for the diagnosis of neonatal diarrhea. The body temperature may be increased, commonly remain normal, and sometimes it become subnormal. The animal become stiff, the abdomen become tucked up because there is nothing in the intestine, everything lost. Water from the body is lost, intestine is nearly empty. And because of the liquid diarrheic feces, there is swelling of hindquarters of the calves. That is also a important point for the diagnosis of diarrhea. As a clinician in the field condition, we can make a presumptive diagnosis. Confirmatory diagnosis in the field is difficult, but presumptive diagnosis are very easy. History of recent birth of a calf or any neonate, development of typical symptoms we have narrated, history of colostrum feeding and other management practices, and age of neonate. The disease occur within first week of a life and characteristic signs. By this way, we can make a presumptive diagnosis. For the diagnosis and confirmation, we can collect the fecal sample in the laboratory, cultural isolation, and examination of the organism. Necropsy finding is the best diagnostic information obtained by postmortem examination of acutely affected animals. There is characteristic lesion attaching and effacing lesions caused by strain E. coli can be diagnosed very easily. Characteristic necropsy finding and mild to severe enteritis lesions are observed. Further confirmation can be achieved by assessment of non-specific immunity, especially the immunoglobulins and vitamin A concentration in the serum. Assay of enterotoxin require the laboratory help. Dear friend, if you want to save the calves, our replacement stock, or any neonates, please share to as many veterinarians as possible. Don't forget to press like button to promote the channel and to support the channel. Requested to subscribe this channel. Thank you very much for observing the videos.